Analysis tab in BSC Designer Professional helps to have a quick overview of the indicators in the scorecard and their performance. So here I have a sample scorecard, which is a scorecard for university. I have here some indicators on KPI tab. I have some strategy map here, some dashboard, and I'm going to explain some details about how to use Analysis tab. So first of all, here on top, we have a selection of certain types of analysis. And when I change this Analysis tab, the data that I see here is also changed, and respective data is visualized. And below, I also have some additional settings that I can use. So let's have a look at all types of analysis now. For example, the performance and progress analysis. As we can deduce from its name, it helps to find out the best and the worst performing indicators in the scorecard. So here I have the list of all indicators in my scorecard, and here I have two columns. And by clicking on this column, I can change the sorting order. So basically, if I want to see the indicators with lowest performance, I do this, and I have this visual data. We have discussed the difference between performance and progress in a separate video, so if you are not familiar with these two concepts, I do recommend for you to have a look at that video. Another thing to mention is that sometimes we need to analyze the performance only for the indicators, and sometimes we need to analyze the performance for the goals or for the containers. And to do this, to change this idea, we need to change this setting in Analyze group. So I have changed it to containers, and now the software shows for me the goals that we have on KPI tab. The performance of the goals that we have on KPI tab. Now, additional settings here gives us a possibility to specify time interval that is used for analysis, because the performance and the progress will change according to the change of this time interval. So basically, if we are interested in seeing how this scorecard was performing a year ago or 2 years ago, we can pick the appropriate time interval here, and the software will do a respective analysis. The next type of analysis is absolute weight. How this analysis works and what does it calculate? It calculates the absolute weight of the indicator. So in the software we have relevant weight and absolute weight. So what is a relevant weight? Relevant weight is a weight of the indicator compared to other indicators inside the same container. So for example, here I have affordability indicator, and on the performance tab, I have this weight field that tells me that what is the relevant weight of this indicator. So basically, right now, all the indicators have the same weight. Again, if you are interested in understanding how the software takes into account the weight, I do recommend for you a different video in a KPI section where we discuss the idea of weight and give some examples. We discuss it in the details. So now, this indicator has certain relative weight compared to other indicators in the same container. The container for this indicator also had weight. So it is compared to other containers in the same, on the same level. And this perspective also has weight. So basically, taking into account the weight of the container, the weight of the container inside, and the weight of the indicators, the software can calculate what is called absolute weight. So the weight of the indicator compared to the weight of other indicators. And this analysis actually shows us what is the most impactful indicator for this scorecard. And for now I see that if we're talking about indicators, this will be student satisfaction rate, which has the highest absolute weight. So that's the idea of absolute weight analysis. And in this way we can find out the indicators that influence the total performance the most or influence total performance the less. Now let's have a look at the forecast analysis. And for the forecast analysis, I will need to pick some indicator that has certain trend. So let me show you this indicator on time chart. As you can see, this indicator has certain trend line. Now I will be switching it off and on so that you can see it. So basically, using the historical data for this indicator, the software is able to draw this trend line showing where the value of the indicator is trending. Using the same logic, the software can forecast the value of the indicator. So it can forecast the value of the indicator for a certain date, and we can also ask an opposite question, where a certain value of the indicator will be achieved. So for example, if I put here that I am interested in value 70, the software will tell me that forecast date is 2007. And if I put here certain date in the calendar, the software tells me what date is forecasted for this target date. Okay, let's move to the next type of analysis, which is value. And in this type of analysis, we also have all our indicators, but now we are focused on the value of the indicator. So we see general indicators data. We have this graph for the value with current values. The colors show us the color of the stoplight for this indicator. And we also see the maximum and minimum value of indicator and some other data that we can actually configure using time interval. So basically this analysis helps us to have a view of the values of indicators in our scorecard. The next type of analysis is update interval. What does it stand for? As we have discussed in a video about KPIs, all KPI can have update interval. For example, this indicator should be updated monthly on the first day of the month. What does it mean? It means that we can scan all of the indicators and we can find out when we should update them and what was the last time it was updated and what is the current status of this indicator. So let's, for example, pick this indicator found in Indonesia, and let me enter some data for this year, and we'll see what data will change here. So basically now the software tells me that this indicator needs to be updated in 400 days. Last time it was updated on this date, that this indicator should be updated annually on April 1st, and that this indicator is actually updated ahead of schedule because my computer's date has not yet reached the April 1st. And the next update date is also shown. So this type of analysis helps us to understand what indicators we should update and what indicators were already updated. Okay, moving to the last analysis, which is the biggest gain lost. In our scorecard we have some data, and imagine that we select 2 points in time and we ask software a simple question. how did the performance of the indicator changed? We have one time point and we compare the data with another time point. We can compare it with certain date. We can just compare with a previous update for this indicator, its previous value. So having in mind this information, the software calculates for us the gain loss for this indicator, and we actually can have some data for the comparison. So let's select some older date and we'll see how gain loss is changing. Additionally, we have this data on the right that shows us some information that might be useful for making certain decisions. I think we have reviewed the main details about the analysis in BSC Designer Professional. As always, should you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact our customer support team.